obviously, we've heard most of what has happened, but what has happened is that there was a sequence of events. It was a minor protest, and it wasn't even against really a decision of our government. The quota was not made by our government. Our government had actually removed the quota many 2-3 years ago. But the families of the freedom fighters went to court. The court reinstated the quota, and that's why we had the protests. But I think all along, some other vested groups kept inciting this protest. We accepted the protesters' demands. We wanted a peaceful resolution. Even when the violence happened, we formed a judicial committee to investigate, and we suspended police officers. But I think there was some group that kept inciting the protesters, and ultimately it turned violent, and it became an issue of my mother's safety. The protesters were marching on the prime minister's residence. My mother did not want to leave the country. She, even at the last minute when she went to the military air base, and she told her sister to get on the helicopter, my aunt put me in touch, called me and put me in touch and said, your mom doesn't want to leave. And I talked to her and I convinced her that you have to leave because they will kill you. She did not wish to leave Bangladesh. So this is the situation. I think this situation was escalated deliberately. On July 15th, first of all, there was no reason for the protest because it was not a decision of our government. It was a decision of the courts. And our government was actually appealing against the court decision. So if they had just waited for the court decision, the quota would have been removed. Secondly, first, the protests were peaceful. Our police were guarding the protesters. Because it was peaceful, on the night of 15th of July, some group started marching at Dhaka University in the middle of the night in darkness, chanting, "We are Rajakar, we are Rajakar," which is, they took one of my mother's statements out of context. My mother said, we don't want Rajakar's families to get government jobs. That is what she said. But whoever was instigating turned it into saying that my mother called the student protesters Rajakar. She did not say that at all. And chanting, "We are Rajakar" in the middle of the night at Dhaka University is like chanting in Jerusalem in the middle of the night, "We are Nazis, we are Nazis." What do you think would be the reaction of the people of Jerusalem? And so that's what happened. All our pro-Awami League students, they got angry. They attacked the protesters. They got into a fight with them. The police tried to stop the fight, and in trying to stop the fight, some of the police officers used excessive force. Our government immediately suspended those police officers. Our government formed a 3-member judicial committee to investigate the deaths. But I think that whole incident was designed to set up so that then they could claim these protesters to be martyrs and escalate the situation to demand the resignation of the government. And that is what has happened. And I think that there are outside forces here, inside forces. Many of the protesters were armed with firearms. They attacked police stations with guns. Why did the protesters have guns? Where did those guns come from?